They say some buildings never stop breathing. And tonight, you're about to walk into one of them. In the heart of downtown Los Angeles, between the flashing neon lights and the constant sound of sirens, there stands a hotel that was meant to be a paradise, but became a prison for lost souls. The Cecil Hotel. But to horror fans, it's the real-life inspiration behind American Horror Story, Hotel Cortez. From the outside, it looks like just another old building. But inside, every floor, every hallway, every locked door has a heartbeat. It's as if the walls remember, every scream, every drop of blood, every secret whispered in the dark. The hotel opened in 1927. The Roaring Twenties, when Hollywood dreams were shining, and Los Angeles was the city of angels. The Cecil was built as a luxury destination for the rich, red velvet carpets, shining marble floors, gold-plated elevators. But within months, the dream began to rot. The stock market crashed. People lost everything. And the Grand Hotel, once meant for the elite, became a cheap stop for the broken and the desperate. It didn't take long for death to move in. The first suicide came in 1931, a man hung himself in his room with a bedsheet. But the strangest part was the message scrawled on the mirror in red lipstick. "I'll never check out." Since then, the Cecil earned a nickname among locals, the Suicide Hotel. They said if you stayed long enough, the building whispered your name, and told you how to die. By the 1940s, the police had stopped keeping full records. There were too many. One woman threw herself from a window, landing on a pedestrian below. Both died instantly. Another man shot himself in the hallway while guests ate dinner just one floor below. Then came the serial killers. In 1985, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, moved into the Cecil. He'd come home from his killings at 3 or 4 a.m., drenched in blood, and walk barefoot through the lobby. Sometimes he'd laugh. Sometimes he'd stare at the night clerk until the man looked away in terror. He paid $14 a night for room 1412, a room that even today no one will stay in. When he was finally caught, he smiled for the cameras and said, "The devil protects his own." And some believe that devil still lives inside the hotel. Years later, another killer, Jack Unterweger, checked in, pretending to be a journalist writing about Los Angeles crime. At night, he'd strangle women with their own bras. He would even sit in the hotel bar afterward, quietly sipping whiskey, watching the police sirens flicker outside. But what truly made the world fear the Cecil again, was what happened in 2013. Elisa Lam. A young student visiting from Canada. She checked in for a few nights, bright, curious, a dreamer. Then, she vanished. Guests started complaining about the water. The color was off. The taste was strange. Some said it was thick. A few even said it smelled like iron. When maintenance went to the rooftop to check the water tanks, they found her body floating inside, her clothes beside her, her eyes open. The hotel said the rooftop doors were locked. Alarmed. Inaccessible. So how did she get in? And why was she seen on the elevator camera that night, moving strangely, as if she were talking to someone only she could see? In the footage, she presses every button. She hides in the corner. She peeks out, then back in, as if something invisible was chasing her down the hall. That was the last time she was seen alive. The police said, accidental drowning. But locals knew better. They said the hotel had taken another one. Over the years, hundreds of ghost hunters, psychics, and journalists have tried to uncover the truth about the Cecil. Some leave terrified. Others don't leave at all. One investigator stayed overnight on the 14th floor, the same level Richard Ramirez lived on. At exactly 3:17 a.m., he heard the shower turn on by itself. When he opened the bathroom door, steam filled the air, and a message was written on the mirror. "I never checked out." When he ran to the hallway, the elevator doors opened, on their own. Inside was a single wet footprint. Another visitor said she heard a woman singing softly outside her door, a lullaby, over and over again. When she looked through the peephole, no one was there. But when she looked away, she swore she saw a shadow slide under the door. Security guards claim they still hear phones ringing in rooms that haven't been occupied for decades. And the rooftop? Still sealed. Still locked. But every few months, someone swears they see a figure standing beside the water tanks at night, staring down at the city lights. The Cecil has been renamed now, the owner's trying to erase its past. But you can't rename evil. You can't bury something that was never alive to begin with. They say the hotel feeds on sorrow, that every tragedy gives it strength. Every scream becomes part of its walls. And every story told about it, gives it one more breath. So maybe, as you're listening to this, the hotel is listening too. Maybe it knows your name now. Maybe it's already waiting, for you to check in. If you ever find yourself in Los Angeles and see a tall, gray building with faded red letters and a flickering neon sign, don't go inside. Don't even look at it for too long. Because they say, if you stare at the windows long enough, someone will stare back. This was the real hotel behind American Horror Story, Hotel Cortez. If this story gave you chills, like, share, and subscribe. Because the next one might be about a place that's closer to you than you think.